27.
I'm Eddie Kenny, Vice President of External Relations for Kentucky Wesleyan College. I'm honored to have this opportunity to share my story in Seven. One of the things I always think about is, faith is such a personal journey. Everybody's journey is so different and yet very similar. And so as I try to think about how to share or what to share, it's what comes from the heart, and it's going to resonate with somebody on a particular day, at a particular time, just like other stories and others' journeys help to kind of shape me in my life. So I was born and raised in South Florida, Catholic family, a very strong Irish Catholic family. My parents made sure to sacrifice everything they could for my brother and I to attend Catholic schools growing up. We attended Mass every Sunday, whether we liked to or not, although oftentimes it was because we wanted to be there. I don't really recall a time growing up when it was, a chore. That was where we went to get together with family, to get together with friends. We had such a deep relationship with our pastor at our church growing up, and I'm honored to say still a friend and a mentor, spiritually to me to this day. My uncle was a priest in South Florida as well. So we had a lot of interaction with the priests throughout the Archdiocese of Miami, and through the good times, through the bad times, there was always this feeling of just having that support system around us. And really, what I would say is getting a peek behind the curtain into the reality of their commitment to their faith as well, which has fostered itself in my life and in that of my brother. I've got one older brother who I look up to immensely. He is definitely, one of my best friends in this world, and we've gone through hard times together and survived that as well. And I think a big part of that is just because of our faith and our journey in faith. After graduating from high school, which is actually when I met my wife, we worked at Publix together in a grocery store. And we struck up a friendship and became, just lifelong friends. And thankfully, she stuck with me through hard times. And we have 3 beautiful children now. Our lives together. We got married in 2004. My uncle actually married us. So we had 3 other priests on the altar for that marriage, just to make sure that everything was was really sealed up perfectly. And I know family and friends that came from Ireland and all over the place to help celebrate that day with us. And it was one of the best days, and in fact, really weeks of our lives. So we've been very fortunate and blessed in our marriage, which of course is not just the 2 of us, it's with God right there in the center of it. So we've experienced hardships throughout the marriage. We've experienced miscarriages before we had our first child and between our first and second child. So, but now with 3 beautiful children, God has blessed us, and we've got a beautiful family that we've moved from South Florida when we didn't have children up to the Tampa Bay area, which is where we really became part of another parish community. And ironically, it was the St. Mark, where my uncle was the pastor down in South Florida. We became community members at St. Mark the Evangelist in Tampa. And that's where, quite honestly, I think that's where the spark that was built in my younger days became really, it blew up. It was the opportunity there to really explore my faith as a young man, as a young husband, and then father. But God called me several times to go on retreats with men's groups at our parish. The first time was just as a participant, and then he called me to be a weekend leader, and then a lay director for a 3rd retreat weekend where I was able to kind of oversee and shepherd that group moving forward. And through those experiences, it really helped me to help, share my story. In the fall of 2007, we got a call on Halloween night from Ireland late at night, and I knew that a late night call at that point was either family and friends having a really good time or the exact opposite. And for some reason, when that phone rang, I knew that it was probably the opposite. And my uncle, who was my godfather, had suffered a brain aneurysm. And within 24 hours, I was flying across the pond to be with family and friends. And through that experience, we were able to join around his hospital bed as they called us in shortly before it was time for him to go home to the Lord. And we surrounded him with, my aunt and his 4 daughters, and my uncle, the priest, and other uncles, my parents, we were able to be there, and we prayed the rosary, and it was one of the more faith-filled moments that I've ever had in my life. It wasn't sad. Yes, we were, of course, distraught by losing him, but the strength that was felt in that prayer and that circle and that unity at that point was just so incredibly powerful. And it helped me to really carry forward and the days that followed, to be able to support my family and to be able to be a part of that celebration of his life really meant the world to me. And summers spent in Ireland really came full circle at that point because, it was really surrounded by cousins and aunts and uncles to help celebrate his life, but it also just reinforced that family aspect of my own personal life and then increased my faith journey, right? So prayer, to me at that point, kind of changed. It wasn't so much praying for something, it was praying for understanding of God's will and being accepting of that. Something that I've tried to strive for, and through those challenges that we faced, with miscarriages, but also, through challenges of losing jobs and having to relocate. So we went to Tampa, and then we came up here to Kentucky after an unfortunate job situation. But it was probably the blessing that we needed for our family again to take the next step. We welcomed our third child during that time frame when we were transitioning up here to Kentucky, and really just when we moved here, we found a church community, and Owensboro has so many faith, filled areas that have really helped us to become stronger in our faith, and then also to be building characters of faith in our children now, and preparing that next generation. And so we've been fortunate to latch on to a parish community, which now our kids are the ones that are, going to Mass every Sunday with us and have yet to really kick up a fuss, except for maybe a late night when they're a little tired after a late night or early morning. But they really do get involved. Our oldest now is active and trying to get active in youth groups. She's in music ministry. She's serving every Sunday or every other Sunday. And so that's a blessing to see that transition, and that, we're hopefully leading them in the right way too, and encouraging them in their faith journey to get closer to God, and really to just explore that faith with him and through him. And then also to, encourage that prayer journey too. Prayer, like I said, is so personal, and that conversation with God can be very formal or can be very informal. When I talk, to God, I take that approach of, talking to Father, talking to brother, talking to the Holy Spirit, and it's really that personal touch. It's that conversation that just helps us to get closer and to get that understanding and really that personal relationship that is a true blessing in everything we do. As I came here to Kentucky Wesleyan, it was interesting, because the Catholic coming to a Methodist institution, I'd worked at previous Catholic institutions, but what a welcome and what an incredible faith-filled community we have here. And I think that's only just encouraged my faith growth in faith. And then seeing our young students and other faculty and staff members and members of our community here locally that get together and just share that faith so openly and so willingly and so lovingly. It's inspiring, and I hope that I'm able to carry that forward in what I do on a daily basis. I know that I have the privilege and honor of going out and meeting so many people in the job function that I have, and I hope that I carry that with me everywhere I go, and that I express that to those whom I meet on a daily basis, and certainly want to continue to do that and grow that. And because every interaction I have, is obviously it's with somebody who's maybe in a different point of their faith life, and it helps me to grow in my faith, and I hope that I can grow with them in their faith as well. So it's just incredible, like I say, to have that opportunity to share stories of where we've come, where we've come from, where we're going to, and really to explore that journey with others and share that. I think that's what we're called to do as disciples of Christ. And discipleship journey takes a lot of twists and turns, and ultimately, we want to find that path to his kingdom, and really to grow with him and be there with our loved ones and all those who have gone before us when our day comes. And so I'm just delighted and honored and thankful for the surrounding faith community here at Kentucky Wesleyan and our Owensboro community in this world where we only have one chance to go through and really want to make that difference. So, we want to remember, obviously the difficult times that he is with us always. And those difficult times are the times when we really strengthen ourselves and harden ourselves to move forward and to help others in their difficult times. So my name's Eddie Kenny, and that's my story in NSEVEN.